Okay, guys, thanks for your attendance today. Major announcement. Due to a serious back issue, Brad Scott will not be able to coach the club for the next 4 games. This has been something that he's been dealing with since the beginning of the year. And it was something we originally, and obviously he hoped that he could deal with through medication and treatment. Unfortunately, the last 2 weeks in particular, it's deteriorated to the extent that really surgery is now the only option. And that has to be done on the advice of the advice of the surgeons as soon as possible. Obviously not great timing, as we said, that Brad was hopeful, and we were hopeful that this is something he could deal with in the off-season and push through. But the symptoms and the pain levels now become such that it requires immediate surgery. Obviously, that's a decent recovery period away from the game in terms of the contact with the players. The complicating thing with it is that in the next 4 weeks we have 3 interstate travels, obviously involving plane flights. Not great for someone recuperating from back surgery, obviously. So I think in another set of circumstances with the fixture, we might have been able to pinch a week there and have him return to the coaching box maybe after 3 weeks. So we expect to see Brad back here on deck at the beginning of that 4th week. But I know we play the Gold Coast at the end of that week, the 4th game. He won't be able to fly, so he won't participate as the match day coach in that particular week. It means a return to full-time coaching duties round 15, because there's a bye for us in between that time as well, which allows some extra recuperation for Brad. We'll put Brad up at some stage to talk to you during his recovery period. There's nothing sinister in terms of him talking, but right now, in the immediate phase, we ask that you respect his privacy. And as I say, we'll give you regular updates through myself or through Heath. But right now, we ask you to respect his privacy. Happy to take some questions.
Who will coach the side?
Darren Crocker will stand in as a senior coach. But having said that, we expect greater input, obviously, from all our assistants in Josh Drummond, Lee Tudor, and Shane Watson. And we have a pretty strong development coach panel as well, where Jared Moore, Gavin Brown, Ben Dyer will all accept and shoulder some further responsibility, as will our leadership group. And you just hope that in this sort of situation, which is fairly unusual, we've seen Clarko go through a similar thing last season or the season before, that everyone puts the shoulder to the wheel and takes some responsibility. So we hope the team approach will get it done. But in an official sense, Darren Crocker will be the stand-in coach.
Is it a tough call between Darren and Lee Tudor?
Look, it was discussed internally. We think that because Darren has managed this sort of role before here at the club a couple of seasons ago, that he's well suited to it, and knowing that it's for a brief period of time, we expect him to do the job well. But we also know and expect that the support from Lee and Josh and Shane in particular will be such that to say the collective might will get the job done.
How much discomfort has Brad been in recent times?
Yeah, well, it's been significant, and I think the thing that we need to stress or understand is that this is really last resort stuff. He'd hoped that through some medication and through treatment that he'd be able to manage this, but the pain and the discomfort and even the mental stress on him in terms of dealing with the condition has exacerbated in the last 2 weeks, to the extent that it's just not possible to continue functioning. And there is the risk, or was the risk, that if he delayed the surgery and didn't have it done until the end of the year and somehow endured the circumstances he's going through, that there would be some long-term issues with his well-being, and obviously no one wants that.
How did the players react to this?
We told the players this morning, quite concerned obviously for their coach and their senior coach, but as I said, apart from the concern for Brad as a person and as their coach, they see it as an opportunity to step up.
You feel like a bit of a kick in the guts, I suppose, yesterday's second half, and then hear this news, and just how frustrating.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great because he's the most important in my eyes, and I think in most people's eyes, he's the most important person in this footy department, because he's the leader of this team. It's not great. Well, it would never have been great timing, particularly coming off yesterday's loss, and then the next morning we wake up and know that our senior coach is going to be out of action. Not great. Not great.
What's Brad's main emotion? He's such a competitive guy. It must be tough to step away.
Yeah, very frustrated because, as you say, he's a greatly competitive beast. I'm sure there's part of him feels that he's letting his team and his players and his club down, but I think he's also a realist to know that if he's going to function as well as we want him to, and be the coach that he can be and we want him to be, that he needs this repair surgery done as soon as possible.
So what was the timeline in terms of when does he go overnight, when does he come back to
Yeah, we'll speak to the surgeon. We'll get him in as soon as the surgeons can fit him in on their list.
Have the players seen how much discomfort he's in, and therefore maybe the announcement wasn't a total shock to them for that?
I think, like everything, some players are more intuitive and perceptive than others. But I think in a general sense, most players would have known that he's been carrying a back condition. A lot wouldn't have been aware of the acute nature of it, Julian. So it's a bit of more of a shock to some than others.
So carry over from his playing day, new injury.
Well, yeah. Look, I think it probably it emanates from his playing days and something that he's dealt with in some way, shape, or form for a number of years. But as I say, the last 3 or 4 months, and particularly the last couple of weeks, it's become really acute.
So it's fair to say it was impacting, his day-to-day and then on match day as well. It was just too much for him to
certainly impacting on his well-being, and I suppose we all can empathise with that. We know when we're feeling crook or we're off, everything suffers.
What sort of contact were you with the coaching staff?
Certainly, in the immediate phase after surgery, there won't be a lot because of the nature of the recovery. But we would expect that, maybe, and I'm sort of guessing here, 7 days or so after surgery, that he'll start to resume contact with the coaching staff in particular. That might mean us taking some meetings to his place, because part of the recovery is that he remains lying in a prone position for a number of days. So that might mean us taking some meetings to his place. But I would think soon after, and as soon as he's feeling well enough, he'll resume contact with the coaching staff in particular.
From a football point of view, Jeff, how do you explain what happened after all this?
Yeah, hard to explain, Julian, and I'm sure that's what the coaches will go to work on in the next 24 hours with the playing group. I know Brad's statements were pretty clear after the game, and they were reflected by the players' feelings about a game that should have been well and truly in our keeping at half-time, but we weren't able to stem the opposition's want and desire to get back into the game. So, it's not my role to explain it in a technical sense. I leave that to the coaches, but clear to say that the frustration and the disappointment is palpable.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.